Namaskar. Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Shalipal, Assistant Professor I.E.R.T. Prayagraj. Take this opportunity to welcome each of one of you to the valedictory function of 1 week faculty development program on recent trends of emerging research advances in design aspect and innovative modeling techniques with miniaturization for electronics devices and circuits. Sponsored by AICT Training and Learning Academy. On behalf of the Electronics Department, IERT Prayagraj, we are delighted to offer a gracious welcome to all of you. Now, a request to Dr. Vidyakant Shukla, sir, Assistant Professor IERT Prayagraj, to introduce our chief guest and dignitaries to all of us.
Thank you, Dr. Sally. Myself, Dr. Vidyakant Shukla, Assistant Professor in the Department of Applied Science and Humanities, IERT Prayagraj. Honorable Chief Guest, Vice Chancellor of Abdul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow. Professor Pradeep Kumar Misra, sir. Guest of Honors, Professor Subodh Beria, sir. Professor R.K. Chauhan, sir. Director of IERT, Dr. Bimal Misra, sir. Our special guest, renowned Professor Dr. R.V. Misra, sir, and all the participants present with us. As we know, and as we are here to celebrate the valedictory function of the faculty development program that started on 24th January 2022. Now I am grateful to those persons who are here to make this occasion meaningful and memorable. So now, as per the culture of the technical session, first of all, I am going to introduce my guests. First of all, a man of invincible courage and endurance, Professor Pradeep Kumar Misra, sir. We are very fortunate that our chief guest is the Vice Chancellor of Abdul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow. Before this, he was the Vice Chancellor of Jharkhand University of Technology. He is a very dynamic administrator as well as excellent academician. Also, he received a Bachelor of Engineering from IIT Roorkee, MTech from IIT Bombay, and PhD from Institute of Technology, BHU, Varanasi. He has published many national and international papers in various reputed journals. Except this, he has been a part of many administrative bodies also. On the whole, it can be said that his contribution as an administrator, now it can be said that his contribution as an administrator as well as an academician has made him the bright star in the field of science and technology. Our another guest of honor, the Subodh Beria, sir. He is a professor of electronics and communication engineering in the Institute of Engineering and Technology, Lucknow. He has done his PhD from Motilal National Institute of Allahabad. He has a vast experience of teaching and administration. He is a Dean of Undergraduate Studies and Entrepreneurship in Abdul Kalam University, Lucknow. Now, our other respectable guest of honor, R.K. Chauhan, sir. Professor R.K. Chauhan Singh, also very renowned personality, professor and head Department of Electronics and Communication. He is PhD in electronics from IIT VHU. He has published more than 100 papers. Time to time, he took part in many administrative work also, administrative responsibilities also. Now, I am going to introduce a very dignified personality, renowned professor, our special guest, Professor R.B. Misra, sir. With his ideological aura, he is continuously contributing in the field of science and technology. As it is well said that fragrance of flower cannot be kept hidden, in the same way, Professor R.B. Misra, sir, is like a banyan tree for the technical education and institutes. His contribution and meditation in the field is going to pave the way to the young generation of India. As Bell said in Sanskrit literature, that Mahajano in Gata Sapantha. In the same extent, the contribution, the meditation, the way of imparting the knowledge to the in the field of science and technology, in the field of computer and internet, Professor R.B. Misra sir is going to pave the way to the young generation of India. And his voice has become the voice of India, the voice of young generation of India. Now, another eminent personality, a man of still beginning, never ending, Dr. Bimal Misra sir. He is the director of IERT, Allahabad. He is also done his PhD from IIT BHU. He has a vast experience of teaching to the engineering students, to the students of science and technology. And except this, he has a vast experience of administration also. His cooperative nature, his way of making enthusiastic to the faculty members, to the colleagues, makes him unique. Now, I am going to conclude myself, and I would like to pray to our guests to shower their blessings and enlighten us by these concluding lines that इस गुलशने हयात को या रब संवार दे, इस गुलशने हयात को या रब संवार दे, जिस पे खिजा ना आए कभी वो बहार दे. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. Himanshu Mishra, sir, Dean IQAC, IERT Prayagraj, for welcome address.
A very good evening, everyone. I, Dr. Himanshu Mishra, Dean IQAC, IIT Prayagraj, would like to welcome all the distinguished guests present over here. I would like to also express my heartfulness in introducing the chief guest, Professor P.K. Mishra, Honorable Vice Chancellor, AKTU Lucknow, then patron, Mr. Sanjay Goel, IAS Divisional Commissioner and Authorized Controller, IIT Prayagraj, special guest of honor, Professor R.B. Mishra, Emeritus Professor, MIT Patna, and ex-HOD, IIT BHU, guest of honor, Professor R.K. Chauhan, Head EC Department, MMUT Gorakhpur, UP, and guest of honor, Professor Subodh Vaya, Sir, Dean UG, IIT Lucknow. And last but not the least, I would like to heartily thank our director, sir, Dr. Vimal Kumar Mishra, sir, for giving us this opportunity to organize this beautiful FDP. Once again, I would like to welcome all the distinguished guests and all the participants who are present from all over India who have spared their time in enriching their knowledge in this beautiful FDP. Now, I would like to invite the coordinator of this FDP, Dr. Yatin Gaurav sir, to brief the objectives of this FDP program. Thank you.
First of all, I want to say good evening to all the respected senior professors, my colleagues, and the respected participants that they shown us the big patience to being attached with throughout whole FDP. Before going into the deep, I would like to say that the what was the basically aim. It was designed for the FDP. Why the ATAL FDP is being designed? Actually, this was totally designed to increase the employment capability. Through this FDP, we used to train the faculty members of the engineering college, even the research scholars also, so that in future they can impart that knowledge, that peak of the knowledge to the students, and that students can be placed in different MNCs, different industries, in day-to-day life, in day-to-day changing technology that the industries is adopting. They get trained. We all know that the overall population in India is surplus, and that overall population, the surplus populations can be converted into the manpower, and that this manpower can be supplied to the other countries where the countries are in minus populations. Okay, now going to the deep, the design of the faculty, design of the faculty development program. The topic before going to the, I would like to repeat the topic of the FDP of the IERT. The topic was research advances in design aspects and innovative modeling techniques with miniaturizations for electronic devices and circuits. This is a very broad area. Actually, I have put up the microstrip technology also, microstrip filters, microstrip antennas, VLSI, CMOS designing, the all the design issues in designing in the softwares and in the simulation also. Even I have also put up the latest related fields known as such as mechatronics also, then correlated fields such as biomedical engineering also. I have covered most of the topics in this FDP. It was the luck that we got the opportunity. Also, we were having the various senior, most senior professors that that they had given us the expert talks, and I think so. The most of the participants were would must be get benefit with all the 14 sessions that has been designed. Before going into the all the 14 sessions, I would like to give a brief of each sessions that has been given. At least two lines for the each sessions. The first session was taken by the Professor Rajiv Tripathi sir. He is the director of the MNIT Allahabad. Sorry, we can say Prayagraj now. He has covered the topic of the problem solving design issues in the electronic devices circuits. In the whole session, he has discussed the problems regarding all the electronic devices. The second session was it was a very good discussions with the Rajiv Tripathi sir. Then the second session was by the Professor R. A. Mishra sir. He covered the topic of the modern VLSI designs. He discussed all the softwares that are used in the design and simulations regarding the VLSI technology. He covered most of the. He also discussed the about the FinFET designing. He also discussed the designing issues why we approach the nanotechnology also. It was a very good session, and hopefully all it was totally research oriented. Hopefully the research participants must have get benefit through this. How to design the, how to use the software, which software to be used, and how to design all the MOS circuits, using MOS capacitors to CMOS designing, and FinFET designing also. Then the next day, this was the I had covered till the first day only. The next day was the second day of the FDP. It was divided into 3 sessions. The first session was taken by the Vivekanand Mishra, sir. The second session was taken by the Professor Bijesh Kumar, sir. He is from Triple MUT Gorakhpur. And the third session was taken by the Dr. Sanjeev Rai, sir. He is also from the MNIT Prayagraj. In the first session, that was taken by the Professor Vivekanand Mishra. He is from Bangalore. He has put up all the conditions and design issues while manufacturing the optical fiber. He also discussed the losses, and he also discussed the all the devices in which optical fiber is being used. He also discussed the problems why we used to have while connecting the optical fibers to the devices. He also discussed the advanced materials that are used in designing the optical fibers. Semiconductor materials, the combination of the semiconductor materials. Yes, it was a very good session. It was also hopefully was very fruitful for the research participants, even the faculty members also, uh, who are having the interest in the optical fiber communication. Even they can go ahead with the project works of the BTech students also. Then the second session was of Professor Brijesh Mishra, sir. Brijesh Kumar, sir. He is from Triple MUT Gorakhpur, and he has. This is the actually this is a new topic. Most of us used to go ahead with the VLSI semiconductor silicon devices, but here he has gone through the. But here but in this session, he gone through the organic semiconductors and the inorganic semiconductors. How these organic and inorganic semiconductors are used in designing the VLSI circuits, thin film transistors, and uh, actually we can say he has gone deeply with the organic thin film transistors. He had discussed all the design issues. He had This was totally research oriented. The persons, the participants who wants to go ahead with the research work in organic field, he must go through the videos of this session. Definitely he is going to be benefited. He can, at least he can search out through which topic I have to go, which sector I have to go ahead with the research work. Even this organic thin film transistors can be also taught in the BTech sessions also. The project works can also be carried out. In fact, out of these, he also discussed about the organic LED. It was a very nice sessions, and very good session. It was totally new, and the participants must go ahead with this. The third session was by Dr. Sanjeev Rai, sir. He is from MNIT Prayagraj. He is in electronics engineering department, MNIT Prayagraj. His topic was recent trend in VLSI design with leakage control and low power design issues. He also gone through the software part also. He gone through his transaction papers. He had discussed the papers while what are the issues that were coming in designing the low power CMOS circuits, how he has controlled the leakage current also using tail circuit, and he also shown the piece-wise simulations results also in this CMOS related issues. The session was good. It was totally oriented about the how to control the leakage and how to run the transistors at a low power. Then the next day, that is the third day, was of three session. The first session was Professor Manish Goswami sir. He is the professor in Triple IT Prayagraj. The second session was by, he is a very senior professor, Professor Hannatkar sir. He is from MNIT Prayagraj also, and this session was totally different from the other sessions. Then the third session was by Dr. Santosh Kumar Gupta. He is in he is also from MNIT Prayagraj. So moving into the brief in the from the third day, the first session that was taken by the Professor Manish Goswami sir. His his topic was the design of data converters for IoT enabled smart system. This topic he has totally covered about the applications of the electronic devices. Uh, he has discussed all about the electronic devices that was used in the Internet of Things. He also discussed about the manufacturing units, manufacturing industries that were used in the that in he also took the example of the Mohali Center where the CMOS are used to be implemented at 180 nanometers. It was a very nice session because he has took up most of the electronic devices and operating it through an Internet of Things. He also discussed about the converters, and he also discussed about the programming part that are used to control these devices through internet. It was a nice session. The second session was the on the third day was Professor Hannatkar sir. Hannatkar sir has discussed, his topic was basically fault detection in digital circuits. The fault detection in digital circuits, it was very rarely seen that how to detect the faults in digital circuits. We basically used to replace the digital circuits if it is got faulty, but yet that he had, it was totally practical session. It must be gone through on the blackboard or green board, but he has took all the sessions on the PPT. It was a very tough job. It is a total practical session, but he has took up all the sessions on the PPT, and really it was a mind blowing. And he has discussed all the things, how to detect the problems even in the flip-flop designing circuits, and designing all the digital circuits and everything. The next session was given by Dr. Santosh Kumar Gupta sir. He is also professor from the MNIT Prayagraj. He discussed, his topic was basically nanotechnology issues and technology trends. He took up from the basic thing of the MOS capacitor. Since from he started from the MOS capacitor, how the MOS metal oxide semiconductor was used to work as an capacitor when you apply a voltage to it. He decided all the design issues. He decided all the design issues. Yes, it he decided all the design issues and about the designing the CMOS circuits. He also discussed all the issues when we approach the nanotechnologies in electronic devices. Actually, this he also discussed all the losses, that he also discussed about the scaling, how we scale the how we scale the voltage by using in approaching the miniaturizations in CMOS circuits. Then the next day, that was the fourth day, that was the that was done by the Professor Satish Kumar Sharma sir. He is the professor in San Diego State University, State in San Diego, USA. The session and the next session of the fourth day was by Professor Satyajit sir. He is from IIT BHU Varanasi. Then the third session was of the fourth day was by Professor Vivekanand Mishra. Sorry, he by the Professor D.K. Srivastava sir. In the first session of the fourth day, Satish Kumar Sharma sir Professor Satish Kumar Sharma sir had discussed about the antenna. His topic was innovative high gain antenna for enhanced wireless and satellite communication applications. He has discussed about the 3D metal printed antennas. Even he also discussed about the application of these antennas in the aircraft engineering. He also discussed about all his transaction papers about the antennas, horn antenna, and what are the recent advances in these manufacturing of antennas, even in the all the what are the present trends that are going throughput in the transactions. He also discussed that also. The second session was by the Professor Satyajit sir. He discussed, his topic was point contact diodes to nanoscale, MOS transistors, and overview. He discussed mostly about all the MOS circuits. He also discussed about the CMOS. He also discussed about the uh, silicon insulator technology also. The next session was by Professor D.K. Srivastava sir. He is from BIT Jhansi. He discussed about all the optical fiber. He also discussed about the optical fiber communications. The first one, he started with the symbol interference, inter symbol interferences in the optical fiber communication, and how to overcome it. Then the last day was the fifth day of the session. There was three sessions. The first session was taken by the senior professor sir, by R.K. Chauhan sir. He is the head and professor from Triple MIT Gorakhpur. Second was by Professor Manoj Mishram sir. And the third one was by Professor Subodh Waria sir, the Dean UG AKTU. The first session in which the Chauhan sir has taken the session, he discussed about all the advanced semiconductor materials that is being used presently and which is going to be used in the future, such as the gallium oxide, gallium nitride, and hafnium oxide also. He discussed all the design issues when these advanced semiconductor materials are used while designing the VLSI circuits. The second session was taken by the Manoj Mishram sir. It was totally based on the reconfigurable antenna, but the discussion was very high. It was all the queries of the research scholars. He shot out all the queries of the research scholars. Even he took up from the very basic stage, and he had took up from the very taking it from a very basic stage and going to a very high research level. It was a very interesting session. Then the third session was about by taken by the Professor Varia sir. He is the Dean UG AKTU, and his topic was the advanced digital design in VLSI applications. Sir. Sir, he discussed about the dynamic CMOS, static CMOS designing. He also discussed about the RF MEMS. Even MEMS designing was very good. Then he also discussed with his research papers also. Thank you, sir. Now I think the time is going up. It is very hard. So thank you. I would like to bind up this. Take it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yatin sir. Now I would like to invite our guest of honor, Professor Subodh Waria, IIT Lucknow, UP, and also Dean UZ AKTU. to share a few words of wisdom.
Thank you, ma'am. A very good evening to one and all esteemed dignitaries and participants connected through this online platform. It's given me immense pleasure to be a part of this continuous from inauguration to valedictory function 5-day online faculty development program under the umbrella of ATAL scheme of AICT. A warm and graceful good evening to our esteemed Chief Patron, Chief Guest, today Chief Guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor of AKTU, Professor Pradeep Kumar Mishra ji, Patron Mr. Sanjay Goel ji, Commissioner Prayagraj, Guest of Honor and Chairman of this FDP and Director I.E.R.T, Professor Vimal Mishra ji, our valuable speaker and very senior professor and head of the department and guest of honor, Professor R.K. Chauhanji from MMUT Gorakhpur, special guest and very senior emeritus professor, Professor R.B. Mishra-ji from NIT Patna, Dean Academic, Dr. Sunil Kumar Tiwari-ji, Coordinator of FDP, Dr. Yatendra Gaurav-ji, Senior Professor, Professor V.K. Shukla-ji, Dean Admin, Dr. S.K. Shukla-ji, Dr. Himanshu-ji, Dean IQAC, all co-conveners, course coordinator, all the esteemed speakers as resource person from academic and industry, present excellency, valuable speakers from IIT and IIT and other institute, participant, all faculties who spare his valuable suggestion, guidance and present today, thereby grace this occasion. It's indeed a great honor and privilege to thank digitally on behalf of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow, as Dean UG, uh, Dean Undergraduate Study and Internship. It is both an honor and privilege to be a part of from inauguration to valedictory function of this faculty development program organized by IERT on a very emerging and important topic. And I feel this is a combination of 5 topics. Topic is very useful, known as research trend of emerging research advance in digital in design aspect and innovative modeling techniques with miniaturization of electronic device and circuit. And under the umbrella sponsored by Online AICT Training and Learning Atal Academic Delhi and organized by Department of Electronics Engineering. But at the date is 24 to 28 January, and you know, at the same time, 34 FDPs are running in the same duration in all over India and sponsored by AICT. I feel happy that you people have chosen such a meaningful and trading topic which cover the interdisciplinary education from mechanical to electrical, electronics, computer, and chemical engineering, which would indeed the highly benefit for the entire teacher fraternity. It is a really commendable initiative by IRT Prayagraj because today is a scenario of digitization and some uh, communication modeling in India, and you know that device of size is reducing and the application is more. This FDB contributes and accelerates the adoption of nano device with digital practice in innovation and automation and robotics program. We are glad to share that Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University has already organized the various distinguished online lecture series on Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan as an initiative of Government of India and also organized distinguished online lecture series on AKQ alumni seminar series to share the through thought process with experience to build the career in startup or an entrepreneurship. The basic idea to organize this online FDP are to sensitize and instill the cognitive skill of young growing building faculty of AKTU to develop the innovation skill and thereby able to contribute for the nation. This AICT sponsored ATAL FDP series has many benefits for the faculty members of AKTU to explore their inner skills and deliver it to human mankind by developing socio-economic startup entrepreneurship experimentation. I take this opportunity to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor for sparing his valuable time and rich insight and great vision to implement and propel the innovation and startup program for faculties to share his past experience and today's challenges. It is his great visionary thought and leadership that are put into the best practice, thereby making more adaptable to the system of AKQ. I take this opportunity to express my endless gratitude to Professor Vimal Mishra ji, he is the chairman of this FDP, for his constant guidance, direction, and supervision and support. His positive outlook and confidence and his careful editing contributes enormously to the bringing this FDP series for the faculty and students. As you know, the topic is digital nano device engineering is a broad topic, and in this FDP, the all very senior professors cover the entire domain, starting from problem solution design issues with some optical fibers, with some emerging trend in IoT, some 3D material antenna design, some nanotechnology, and some leakage, and some characteristic optical fiber, advanced semiconductor materials and technology, and some antenna. The main application of digital nano devices engineering today is to improve the building and manufacturing process in automobile engineering, biomedical engineering, biomedical signal processing, biological, which are great user of devices, which also involve digital nano device optimization and improve system design. The basic idea again, FDP education has many benefit for the student. This FDP aims to aware the researcher, academicians, and students pursuing high study with various emerging technology in engineering and research, and understand about its opportunity and challenges. This FDP will give a good opportunity to the academician researcher from the field of computer science, information technology, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, in instrumentation and control, and some chemical technology. Now, once again, I congratulate IERT Prayagraj for organizing such knowledgeable faculty development program session event in this tough time. AICT and our university AKTU is promoting FDP webinar, seminar, and some virtual lab and research activity under various schemes. We are I congratulate the FDP coordinator and entire Department of Electronics Engineering and convey my best wishes to them. And the eminent resource person from the various IIT and IIT, and is a very senior academician, which provide a good knowledge and good lecture for all the faculties. And the throughout the 5 डे एक ही शब्द याद आता है कि गागर में सागर भरना। ये 5 दिन के लिए लगता है कि 5 नहीं 25 दिन की एफडीपी होनी चाहिए थी, और एक एक स्लाइड एक एक लेक्चर्स में मुझे लगता है कि ये 5 कॉम्बिनेशन से 5 दिन के हिसाब से एफडीपी होता। I would like to thank once again all FDP team, course coordinators, members, all the supporting staff of IERT for extending cooperation and support and taking this event to the success path. Thanking you, and I hope you would enjoying the same. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Due to the time constraint of our honorable chief guest, the address by guest of honor, our second guest of honor, Professor R.K. Chauhan, and chairman of this FDP, Dr. Vimal Mishra, would not be possible. So now I request to our special guest, Professor R.V. Mishra, Emeritus Professor NIT Patna and ex-HOD IIT BHU, to deliver his address.
Thank you. Am I audible now? Hello.
Yes, sir.
आवाज अच्छा, okay, thank you. Our honorable Vice Chancellor Professor P.K. Misra, and with distinguished Professor Chauhan, Professor Varia, and Director Professor yeah, Misra ji. So I am very much pleased to hear the addresses given by Professor Varia. What are the topics that can be covered? And really, I am enthusiastic to know also and to hear also that the wide range of topics have been covered in this, so far as the devices, their design, optimization, and applications are concerned. In our from very beginning in undergraduate student used to work on the vacuum tube. So far as the miniaturization is concerned, we have started from vacuum tube to transistor to LSI, VLSI, now the VVLSI. So chronological growth has been done, and we're happy to note that many things like optical fiber communication of the antenna design, and also from the application to biomedical application, signal processing, all these things aspects, so far as the theory and the practices are concerned in the design of the electronic circuit, that had been covered. And I am hopeful that the participants may be benefited by the wide range of lectures by experts in the different subfields of the electronics. And with this, it is also, I must congratulate the organizer, Dr. Yatindra Gaurav, and Professor, the coordinator, Professor, the chairman, Professor Bimal Misra, that they have been nicely organized this FDP, and good number of participants have taken joined here, so that the maximum people are benefited in here. Even the outsider professor that I know, Rajesh Tripathi from our IIT BHU Mesram is there. These people are very good workers. I don't know much more about the other resource person, but through hearing this, I have come to the point that they have given the best of their knowledge and imparted to the participants. With all these things, I once again congratulate the organizing and the institute as well for organizing such a academic affair concern. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite our chief guest, Professor Pradeep Kumar Mishra, Vice Chancellor, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow, and also Chief Patron of the FDP, to share some words of wisdom.
Thank you very much for inviting me for today's function. So, first of all, let me give my gratitude and my namaskar to Professor R.B. Misra ji, who is
Thank
very
you.
senior to me, and
Thank
all
you.
my
Thank you.
colleagues, and my Dean UG Subodh ji, and all the organizers who have done a wonderful task in organizing such a workshop FDP on the topic recent trends of emerging research, advances in design aspects, and innovative modeling technique with miniaturization of electronic devices and circuit. You have already gone through the detailed presentation made by Yatindra Gaurav. He has elaborated what exactly has gone through in last 3-4 days, and I hope every one of you might have you're enriched a lot in the area. As already told by Misra ji, Subodh ji, and Yatindra ji, this workshop has must have given an insight wherein you can start working in niche area of electronics and data mining and other things, VLC design, etc. And we can also start kind of startup environment in every engineering colleges. So let me again give you best wishes. Please carry on doing all these kind of things, because this add value to any institution. Because without adding knowledge, without adding additional thrust to R&D, innovation, entrepreneurship, we cannot think India being one of the best developed nation. So if we are aiming to be one of the developed nation in the world in time to come, we have to start increasing our efforts in this desired direction. So once again, congratulations to the team, congratulations to IERT, all those resource person. Thank you from core of the heart, because they have given their knowledge, they have shared their intellect, and that have enriched our institute. So thank you very much. Keep doing this thing, and I'll be there to support in every way. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Now I would like to invite Dr. Sunil Kumar Tiwari, sir, Dean UG IERT Prayagraj, to deliver vote of thanks.
Thank you, Salima. A warm good evening to everyone. We are now at the end of the 5-day ATAL FDP, and we will end this session by thanking everyone who have been associated with this FDP in some way. First of all, I, Dr. Sunil Kumar Tiwari, Dean Academic Affairs, IERT Prayagraj, expresses my gratitude to our chief guest, Professor Pradeep Kumar Misra, Honorable Vice Chancellor AKTU Lucknow, and Chief Patron of this FDP for his august presence. I would also like to thank guest of honor Professor Subodh Waria sir, Dean UG IET Lucknow, and Professor R.K. Chauhan sir, Head ECE Department MMM UT Gorakhpur for their precious time. Let me also thank our special guest Professor R.B. Misra sir, Emeritus Professor NIT Patna, and ex HOD ITBHU for sharing his ideas with us. The vote of thanks would be incomplete if I don't acknowledge Director of IERT Prayagraj and of Chairman of this FDP, Professor Bimal Misra sir. His encouragement to research and innovation has been immense, and successful organization of this FDP is one of the outcome of his continued motivation. I special mention here to our Commissioner, Prayagraj Division, who also happened to be authorized controller of IERT Prayagraj for his continued support and encouragement for various such programs, and particularly this ATAL FDP. I would also like to thank all resource persons who have taken sessions of this valuable 5-day FDP. On behalf of whole organizing committee, I would like to appreciate all the participants wholeheartedly for their energy, zeal, and eagerness in this 5-day FDP. Finally, let me thank Dr. Yatin Gaurav, a familiar name for those who have attended this FDP, and his organizing team for their brilliant coordination throughout all 5 days of this FDP. I would like to appreciate all the staff and support member who have made this FDP possible with their behind the scene contributions, who faces you might not have seen at all. Thank you everyone, and I hope I have not left anyone who has been associated with this program. Thank you again.